Bill Clinton expelled from Oxford because he raped Eileen Wellstone. Written by Bethany Blankley, October 6, 2016. I've been watching George Webb videos, and it's like someone turned on the light for me. I've been bumping around blind in the world with the state-controlled media pumping propaganda into my head for decades, and I was blind to the truth. Then one day I was searching for something on YouTube, and I ran into the first George Webb video. And immediately I knew that this was the truth and that this researcher has the journalistic skills to uncover the truth. And I couldn't stop watching them. There were hundreds of them. George Webb says that his computer was hacked and that his earliest videos, starting with day 8, were wiped out. I was able to find video 23, day 23 that is, in a series where they're looking for Eric Braverman, who is closely tied to the Clinton Foundation, and he figured out that it was a criminal organization and he went public. He did what Edward Snowden did. He went to the press. Edward Snowden had classified documents, and he complained of government overreach and unconstitutional behavior, and he was vilified. Eric Braverman went to the press and said, just follow the money. Follow the money is what all reporters are told when they are instructed by the editors to go out there and find the truth. Follow the money. Because it's always about money. As soon as there is money, there's a conspiracy to get it. And in the oil business, there are billions of dollars every month. I worked on oil deals, I know. A 5-year contract could have a commission of $1 billion for a broker. Those are the deals I worked on. Never closed one, but I worked on them. So I have some familiarity. So where do you find all the biggest crooks in the world? In the oil business. And they're using governments to sanction countries and do embargoes. Where is the profit? If one country is embargoed, they can't sell oil. So they'll sell it to a bootlegger for 10 cents on the dollar so that they have an income. And the bootlegger will go to the sanctioned country and sell it for 125% of market value because they're sanctioned. So here's a huge opportunity. A whole nation's energy is based on oil. So if you want to understand the Clinton Foundation, you follow the money. George Webb put it all together in a storyboard. So it's easy to understand the connections and see the pictures of the guilty parties. It's an amazing series of videos, and I strongly urge you to watch them. Webb is spelled with 2 B's. W-E-B-B. First name George. And so once I got a good, clear understanding of who Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are, I could see that there were many, many felonies and murders in their wake. Years ago, I looked into the Vince Foster murder, and there were many things that were not reported to the public. And so we never had reality. All we ever had were lies and propaganda. And so I thought I would dig up a little bit of Bill Clinton's past so you can see who he really is. George Webb said something that really disturbed me. He said, I love Bill Clinton. And that is breathtaking. How could he like this evil man? This man who has so many dead bodies in his wake, how could he love Bill Clinton? In the next video, after he said that, he kind of apologized for it. And he should. Because George Webb makes total sense, and this statement doesn't make any sense. I want to read you a short article, and the links in this article are in gold text. I looked at the Roger Morrow link, where he exposes details and facts of sexual assaults and rape committed against women by former President Bill Clinton and the role his wife Hillary Clinton played in covering up these crimes, including threatening his victims. Now, any lawyer knows that to threaten a victim, to threaten a witness who is testifying against you in a court of law is a felony. And Hillary Clinton committed a felony when she threatened Bill Clinton's victims. And that tells you who Hillary Clinton is. She's a criminal, guilty of felonies and murder. Her whole life is a series of murders and felonies. And she nearly won the presidency, which tells you that the public has been fooled because some people voted for her. Not nearly as many as was reported by the bought and paid for mainstream media. CNN stands for Clinton News Network. Roger Stone wrote a book also, The Clintons' War on Women. There's a link. And I highly recommend that you click on all these links. And so I will give you the link to this website. And if you look at the top, you can see politics. The name of the website is Freedom Outpost, Don't Tread on Us. That looks familiar. I've read articles from this website before. I've covered all the information in the first paragraph, so let's move on to the second. The authors argue that Bill Clinton's first alleged rape was a 19-year-old co-ed named Eileen Wellstone, and that was at Oxford. Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. What is a Rhodes Scholar? The program was named after Cecil Rhodes. And if you don't know who Cecil Rhodes is, you're like me a few months ago when I had never heard of Cecil Rhodes, and then I was reading something about banking, and I ran across this name, Cecil Rhodes, and I found out who he was. And then I saw the connection between Cecil Rhodes and the government and Rhodes Scholars. Now, who are Rhodes Scholars? Chris Christopherson is one, but he turned out good. George Wappanopoulos, or whatever his name is. You mean Stephanopoulos? Yeah, that's it. A close friend of Bill Clinton and a classmate. He's a Rhodes Scholar. I believe that the Rhodes Scholars are in training to be part of the one world government. And so Bill Clinton did not pay for his crime of raping Eileen Wellstone. And in the next sentence, it tells you what happened. We believe, that's Bethany Blankley is the author of this article, and she's talking about two authors, Roger Stone and Roger Morrow. And she says the authors argue that Bill Clinton's first alleged rape was of a 19-year-old co-ed named Eileen Wellstone. And then she continues with a quote, "We believe that he was not prosecuted because the State Department did not want a Rhodes Scholar charged with rape." Now, does that indicate the connection between Rhodes Scholar and government? The State Department did not want a Rhodes Scholar charged with rape. So now you see that Rhodes Scholars are connected with government. Was Bill Clinton groomed to be a president? Apparently so. You see, there are many plans by those who want to dominate the world. And they start 50 years ago. They'll have plans long term. The Council on Foreign Relations is part of the planning department. David Rockefeller is part of the planning department. Zbigniew Brzezinski is part. He had a student one time. His name was Jimmy Carter. And they groomed him to be the president because they could get away with anything they wanted with Jimmy Carter as president. I don't think Jimmy Carter is innocent. I think he's as guilty as he can be. Because a lot of people don't know about the connection between Zbigniew Brzezinski and Jimmy Carter. And when you start putting all these pieces of the puzzle together, it gets uglier and uglier and uglier. Bill Clinton rapes a girl, Eileen Wellstone, at Oxford. And he gets away with it because, quote, the State Department did not want a Rhodes Scholar charged with rape. These are the researchers who wrote the books, Roger Stone and Roger Morrow. And Roger Morrow has an article linked here where he gets into the details of the sexual assaults of Bill Clinton. and the cover-ups and threats by Hillary Clinton. And I think if you read those articles, you're going to know who Hillary Clinton is. And you're going to understand why many people think she's guilty and belongs in prison. I hope the bitch dies in prison. And I think Bill Clinton should be in the next cell. I think both of them should spend the rest of their lives in prison for the crimes they committed against the people of this earth. Millions have been murdered as a result of these two people and their cohorts, including the State Department. This is Mary Mahoney. At age 25, she worked at the White House as an intern. And then something happened between her and Bill Clinton. She told her mother she was going to go public. Did the State Department protect Bill Clinton for a second time? Mary Mahoney was shot 10 times at close range. We have a corrupt government that protects serial rapists and murderers. If you fancy yourself a great researcher, why don't you look into the Mary Mahoney case? Because the public doesn't know about this. With government in control of the media, we're not going to get the truth about anything. There will be cover-up after cover-up, and the crimes will get bigger and bigger. What the Clinton Foundation is doing in Libya, Syria, and the Middle East in general, as well as in Haiti, would include your list of the 10 atrocities that any dictator committed against the people. And if we're going to stop this, we have to take the power away from government and restore it with the people. And your role is to learn the truth and spread it. We have the internet, we have social media networks. You can become involved, and you don't have to wait until some congressman decides to hand back the power to the people, because that will never happen. Let's continue. When you see all these connections on the George Webb series of videos on YouTube, you're going to be shaking your head all the way through them. Next paragraph. Clinton allegedly sexually assaulted her, we're talking about Eileen Wellstone, after they met at a bar near Oxford. He claimed they had sensual sex, and Wellstone chose not to pursue the case. A report was filed by a State Department official, which the authors point out was ignored by superiors. That's a quote. Was ignored by superiors. Why did they ignore it? Because they have connections to the Rhodes Scholar program. And the State Department did not want a Rhodes Scholar charged with rape, so they got him free from this rape charge. This is government interfering with a private case where a woman is raped, and so there are two sets of rules, you see. One for you and me, and people who are Rhodes Scholars are exempt, and they can rape anybody they want. Bill Clinton got away with raping Eileen Wellstone and many others. Here's a list, and this is only a partial list. I got to tell you this very interesting fact. In stealing oil all over the world, this Clinton Foundation sets up these organizations, and there are many people involved. And some big names involved. I mean big names. And when you see what a criminal organization it is, you're going to be appalled. You can make a list of the 10 worst crimes that anyone could commit, and I'll bet you that all 10 of your worst crimes listed will be on the list of the Clinton Foundation and its cohorts. They set up brownstones, which is a house where it's all wired with electronics so they can film. They bring in a bunch of little kids, and then they bring some important people to have sex with these kids, and they film it. And the people who are being filmed don't know they're being filmed. And they use this to blackmail them. That's a brownstone. Bill Clinton made 20 trips to an island that's known for this. And Jeffrey Epstein is involved. You want more details? George Webb video series on YouTube. Your jaw will drop, and it will remain dropped all through the videos. The latest one I saw was video 88 or 89, I can't remember. Today's date, January 20th, 2017. It's 10:30 at night. The inauguration of Donald Trump was earlier today. Tomorrow, I expect the next in the series to come out. It might be day 89. Let me check. I watched day 89 today, part 1 and part 2. Tomorrow will be day 90. They're looking for Eric Braverman. I think they've already found him. And they want to know who killed Monica Peterson. Monica Peterson went down to Haiti to investigate what's going on there. She found sex shops. All the benevolent works of Hillary Clinton turn out to be as corrupt as hell. As corrupt as Whitewater, or whatever that scandal was in Arkansas. This woman is a career criminal, and so is her husband. And her husband is a serial rapist. And many women testify to that fact. So I'm not making this up. We have victims who have spoken out in the past. That's the end of that short article. The Roger Morrow link details and facts of sexual assaults and rape committed against women by former President Bill Clinton and the role that his wife Hillary Clinton played in covering up his crimes, including threatening his victims. That is a much longer article with a lot more detail and facts. And I urge you to follow the link in the video description to this website, Freedom Outpost, and click on the links to find out more about Bill Clinton and his serial rapist deeds. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
This is why I'd rather do it by myself. Stack money, make music, put my product on the shelf. So many haters, man, it's hard to believe how they mad as fuck.